Hey love, and welcome to the All That You Deserve podcast, where we talk about all things life, wellness, money, and mindset, and I share real life moments with you as a 20-something. I'm your host, Caroline Astorga, and it only took me 4 tries to get that intro right. Today we're having a real heart-to-heart. We're going to be talking about how sometimes we look at our lives and we're kind of just thinking like, is this where I thought I would be at this age? And I'm just kind of reflecting as to where I thought I would be at age 27, almost turning 28 this year. Yay! And what I expected to have accomplished already and the reality of where I am. We all kind of have this timeline set in our minds of where we want to be at a certain age, the things we want to accomplish. I feel like even though I'm not on track and I'm behind, or I feel like I'm behind, there's really no behind. Everybody's living their own individual lives, and God knows what He has planned for us. So all we can say is just we have to give ourselves grace and just work with what we got and work towards the things that we do eventually want to achieve in life. I'm just gonna go into what my expected timeline was from when I was little. I always thought that, by the age of 18, you gain your independence, right? At 18 years old, you can sign up for the military. Initially, I thought about it. When the recruiters came by in high school, I was going to sign up for the Marines. My dad was not a fan of that, and he threw away all my newsletters and mail that came in that had to do with the Marines, and so I was like, okay, maybe that's not for me. Also, I'm very petite. For those people who don't know, I'm 4'10", 4'11" on a good day. I always like to say that, 4'11" on a good day. And I'm very small. So I know I'm capable of everything I put my mind to, and I don't doubt for a second that I couldn't have made it to be a Marine. But it wasn't just it just wasn't in the cards for me. It wasn't something that I 100% set my mind to. So I just decided to trust my dad and not even pursue that. At 18, I graduated high school. I expected by 21, I would have moved out into my own apartment or in with a roommate or a friend or something. That would have been something nice to experience. I never had that experience. That sounds like so much fun. How fun would it be to move in with a stranger and then be best friends? Or move in with your best friend and get to share space with them and bond in that way in the same living space. I feel like I missed out on that. But things took at 21 I was still living with my parents. So actually at 21 I got married. That's insane. Okay, so at 21, the year started off I was living with my parents. The year ended, I got married. So I got married September 20th, 2019. So I was 21 when I got married. Literally right after me and my husband got married, he was deployed for 9 months because he was in the military. He was in the army. He was deployed for 9 months. And we spent those 9 months, obviously, I was here in my parents' house, and he was overseas. And then when he came back, we got a house where he was stationed in Texas. And we were there for 9 months during the pandemic. And once that was over, I headed over here back to Miami, where I live, and we got an apartment. We lived in that apartment for 1 year. Then we moved in with my parents again, because that's literally right after the pandemic stuff was over. Everything started becoming extremely expensive to live. And it hit us really hard. So we moved in with my parents. My dad transformed the garage into a studio, and I've been here ever since. According to my original timeline, I was supposed to get married at 24. At 26, I was supposed to have my dream job and move into a house with my partner, my husband. And then at 27, I was supposed to have my first kid. Now, fast forward, I told you my whole timeline, and I'm 27, turning 28. Basically, none of that has happened other than the fact that I got married. I graduated high school, I got married, and this year I got my master's degree in psychology. Everything else, like, it kind of just happened and didn't, you know? Not everything happened as I expected it to. I don't have my own house. I don't have my dream job. I have a job I really do love, but it doesn't pay me my dream salary. And I don't have a kid yet. I was hoping to have a kid by 27, but we are planning to get pregnant soon. Fingers crossed we move out before we get pregnant, because I don't want to raise a baby in a garage, because that's not ideal, you know? Like, we're already 4 of us in this garage. It's me, my husband, and our 2 dogs. We definitely don't need to add another human to here. Like, this garage is huge. It's a 2-car garage, but it's still not enough space. Like, baby deserves to have its own room. We deserve to have our own room, for God's sake. But, you know, I can't complain. I really honestly can't complain. Like, my parents are so generous, and they really took us into their home, and, like, my dad insulated the entire garage for us and made it really homey for us to be here, and we've lived here for a while now. But I feel like, you know, this year or this upcoming year, like, it's our time to really be independent and have our own spot and our own place. Needless to say, not everything goes to plan. I'm not gonna sit here and say I don't occasionally compare myself to people on social media that are my age or even younger than me, or friends that are my age and they have kids already and they have their own houses. They just have their own independence. But looking back at it, there's a lot of things that I've learned that if I was put in a different position, or if I had accomplished the things that I wanted at the times that I wanted, I wouldn't be where I am now. I wouldn't be surrounded by the loving family that I have gained through my husband's side of the family. I wouldn't have my amazing sister-in-laws. I wouldn't have his amazing friends, which I love dearly, and my suegra, which is, how do you say it in English? My mother-in-law and my father-in-law. I am so grateful for them. They're honestly the best, like, in-laws I could ever hope for. And I'm just grateful for everything that has put me in the position that I am today. There are times when I've lost that perspective and be appreciative for the things that we have done and we have accomplished and the growth that we have experienced. I'm grateful for where I am now. We have to take responsibility for the choices and decisions we've made thus far and be grateful for where we are currently. Where we want to be is something to look forward to. I think the important thing to take away from this is that life doesn't always go to plan. We all know this. No matter how much you plan it, and I am a stickler for planning things. Nothing ever goes as planned. But it's okay for us to constantly be rewriting our timelines. Rewriting that timeline just gives me an opportunity to grow further. The question is, what does my new timeline look like? Can't go back in time and relive 21 and 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Oh my God, I'm just realizing how freaking old I am. But I can't relive those years. So since I can't relive those years, what am I going to do? I'm going to rewrite the years to come, right? So 27 is almost over. By 27, I want to have a better paying job, which means these next few months, I'm going to go ahead and apply to several different jobs and try to do something and make something of that master's degree that I obtained. I also want to eventually move out of my parents' garage. So that means 2026, crossing my fingers, that is our year to move out maybe it's not buying our own house. I don't know if you guys have checked the market. 2025, trash. Okay, it's really bad out there. I'm laughing because I can, but I'm hurting because damn, it sucks. But the market's bad. Everything is extremely expensive. And if we can't afford to buy a house, then maybe we can afford to buy a townhouse, something smaller. You know, sometimes you have to reevaluate our goals. I also want to next year have a kid, which is kind of scary. But I do. I want to have a kid. I want to have a mini me or a mini Kevin. And I hope that happens next year. Crossing my fingers. I'm starting to take multivitamins and everything. Just to make sure that I'm the healthiest vessel. Just make sure I have a very healthy body and that I can be healthy to eventually carry a child, which is insane to me. Let's not even talk about how crazy it is that women I have the ability as a woman to create life within me. That still baffles me. I'm going on a rant. The point is, life doesn't always go as expected, okay? And sometimes we just have to change our perspective on our current circumstance and work towards the things that we can achieve. I'm glad that I get to share these things with you guys and kind of tell you about where I've been in my life in the past, basically 6 years, and where my life is headed. Timelines are constantly changing. We can't control everything. You know, you can't control everything that life throws at you, but all you can do is just focus on the now and the things that you can do today to better your life tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for tuning into today's podcast. I'll see you next week. Bye.